Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode with iTrek. Big shout out to all the iTrek fan that have just tapped in at this very moment. If this is your first time here, what we like to do is take a look at the most interesting and creepy videos. But remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button for me. Smash that subscribe button and join the iTrek fan. Let's not even waste any more time. Let's jump straight into it.
Tonight, the largest study of its kind showing dogs can actually mirror their owner's health. Researchers in the U.S. monitoring more than 26,000 dogs. The study revealing dogs and owners can develop many of the same chronic conditions, including hypertension, diabetes, and arthritis, because they likely share the same environment as their owners.
Now that's extremely interesting because humans kind of react the same way. If you've lived with anybody for an extended period of time and you catch a cold, whoever you're living with tend to kind of mirror those symptoms, and a lot of the married folk might be able to attest to that. But let me know what you think.
OpenAI just dropped something massive. This one is different, so different that they named it O1, the first AI model designed for deep reasoning. And by the way, it's now smarter than advanced PhD students. You're gonna wanna see this. Basically, when you ask O1 a question, it takes time to digest the problem, like a human would. Then it lays out its step-by-step reasoning to get to the answer. Like, watch this example. This guy created a Korean sentence with a bunch of jumbled, fake, made-up characters. Now, native Korean speakers would easily be able to identify those were fake and translate around them in real time. But even the latest version of ChatGPT can't do it. It gets stuck and then errors out. Now watch this. He feeds the broken Korean sentence into the O1 model and asks it to translate. It thinks for 15 seconds and then it solves it. It decodes the garbled text, deciphers what each word should mean, builds an encryption method to enhance the translation, rewrites all the broken words, and translates it perfectly. This is how a human reasons through problems. We can come up with the answer and show you how we did it. And now, so can AI.
You know what? I got a prediction. I got a real life prediction. In the next 4 to 5 years, we will not need colleges anymore. There won't be any need for it. Your degree will be useless. Mark my words.
China is now warning of a real-life Godzilla after Japan began the controversial release of the 1.3 million tons of treated radioactive water into the sea today. If you didn't know, for the last 12 years, workers at the plant have been pumping water through Fukushima's ruins in efforts to prevent the debris from overheating and causing further damage. But they say that storing all of that contaminated water is becoming too expensive and they're running out of space. So treating the water and releasing it into the ocean is what they've decided. The United Nations nuclear watchdog has approved the plan, with multiple regulatory bodies and experts concluding that the impact on the environment and people would be negligible. Some, however, either disagree with or don't trust these experts, with one of those being China. They accused Japan of using the ocean like their private sewer and now imposed a blanket ban on all imports of Japanese seafood. Their state media also said that it could open Pandora's box and trigger fears of mutations leading up to the real Godzilla. Hey, it is 2023. So the question is, do you trust the experts on this one, or is this a disaster waiting to happen?
Godzilla? No. A mutant fish with like 3 or 4 eyes? Maybe.
Many of my followers remember the series of videos I did about Basquiat, who was a famous artist back in the 1980s, idolized by many of those in Hollywood, including Jay-Z and Ellen DeGeneres. A lot of his artwork looks similar to this. Some of the articles I found allege that he was a medium, a magician, a shaman of sorts, and his mission was nothing less than restoration of powerful spiritual function to art, a channeling of the eternal through the ephemeral. They allege he learned Haitian voodoo from his mother, and he knows the lowest, the Haitian gods, and he knows what they sound like on a jazz record. You can hear Uzuli when she's speaking through a clarinet and understands the relationship between possession and the dance floor, and that the gods are in the music. Well, I had recently watched Sinners, yes, the movie about the vampires, but I noticed that in the movie they used blues and jazz music. When I researched why they included jazz music in a movie about vampires, it states one article even suggests that the music, particularly the blues, acts as a portal between different realms or dimensions within the film. But could it also do the thing in real life? While I was scrolling online yesterday, I had seen some things about what Willow Smith was posting on IG. I'm not going to post those here, but I did stumble across this video that she posted and I found it very interesting. Listen closely.
Jazz is the only genre of music that can hold every single genre of music inside of it without any
So question, If jazz is the only genre of music that can hold any genre of music inside of it, does that mean that jazz music could be integrated in any genre of music? Stay with me.
The flower of life is the only geometrical shape that can hold every single shape inside of it. The circle can also hold every single shape inside of it. Jazz is the circle.
Jazz is a circle, but so are portals. So it has me wondering if jazz music is incorporated in every genre of music, and could it possibly open portals without people even realizing it? I think it's an absolutely bizarre thought, but they seem to think that it's possible to open portals through music. What do you guys think?
Now that clip is definitely one to marinate on, and I can tell you for a fact, I'm gonna need to marinate on it.
Now, if you start drinking more and more water, it will obviously fill your stomach. But that same water will also get absorbed into your bloodstream, causing your brain cells to swell. If you gulp down around 6 liters of water within an hour, you could end up dying pretty quickly.
Toothpaste made out of hair could be on shelves in 2 years, and scientists say it's the secret to stopping tooth decay. Researchers from King's College London say, yes, it's bound atop your head. Keratin, a protein in human hair, skin, nails, and the wool of sheep, forms a dense mineral coating that basically mimics the structure and function of natural enamel, protecting teeth and potentially sealing exposed nerve channels that cause sensitivity. UK researchers hope to channel the power of keratin into a daily toothpaste or a professionally applied gel that can target problem areas.
I mean, those researchers must have been bored, because I'm sure there are other ways of collecting keratin than using people's hair. Or is it just me?
If I told you the true meaning of Satan is the god of this world, has nothing to do with a pitchfork-wielding demon and has everything to do with Father Time. You see, before there was Satan of the Bible, there was Saturn, Kronos, and the early Hebrew Hasatan, the accuser. You see, Saturn offers a 6-sided principle and solution to organizing chaos. It is the so-called 6th planet of our solar system, which is marked by a hexagon at its north pole. Saturn is the material governor, entrapping the soul in the illusion of time, flesh, matter, and the corporeal realm. The Seal of Solomon, also known as the Star of David, is said to overcome these forces because it encompasses the principle of as above, so below. Even Jesus himself taught this principle when he said, "Father, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven." He was reminding us to use mind over matter. This is also where we get our 666 principle from, the number of the beast, which is the number of man, and the molecular structure of carbon, 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons, which gives new meaning to the beast system of the book of Revelation. So next time you hear Satan is the god of this world, remember Jesus taught us to use the third eye. If thine eye be single, the whole body is full of light. Want to know more about the Saturn principles? Leave me a comment.
We need to wake the heck up again, not with fear, but with focus. We need to get our house in order fast.
Look at that. Oh my goodness.
They've got a pretty good kick on them. Can still get quite a good game.
A soccer match at DeepMind looks like fun and games, but here's the thing. Humans did not program these robots to play. They learned the game by themselves.
It's coming up with these interesting different strategies, different ways to walk, different ways to block.
And they're doing it. They're storing over and over again.
It said yes to Django. But it was more about the creative direction of the story. We sat for hours and hours and hours about it. I loved it. I wanted to make that movie so badly. But with that story, I felt the only way I could make that movie is it had to be a love story, not a vengeance story. I don't believe in violence as the reaction to violence. So when I'm looking at that, it's like, no. It has to be for love. The only way he can retrieve his love is to do this. He can't want to be this. No. Like, violence begets violence. For me, I just couldn't connect to violence being the answer. Love had to be the answer.
Would have balanced out that Wild Wild West scale.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Now, you know what's the funniest thing about that clip? Is Will Smith fixing his mouth to say that violence isn't the answer. But he's the same one that smacked the hell out of Chris Rock in front of everybody on national TV. Life is full of hypocrisy, I tell you.
This ever taught us how the body is designed to communicate. So it's pretty cool.
In the early 1900s, there was this very smart man named Nikola Tesla. Tesla was this smart man, and most people would recognize his face, but not, and they'd probably heard his name, but they don't know what he did. But he said this very, very important thing years ago, and he said, if you want to understand the universe, the secrets to the universe, even that, he said, if you want to understand the secrets to the universe, you have to know what energy, frequency, and vibration means. Well, what he was implying back then, he couldn't prove it because microscopes weren't strong enough yet. But what he was implying was that every single cell, especially inside of our body, that's what we're talking about, our body, every single cell inside of our body has a unique job to do. And that cell will do its job as long as the frequency coming out of the cell is working. And so, but again, he was out there and he couldn't prove anything.
Did this lucid meditation where you just lay down and you put a pillow underneath your legs and you focus on not moving. That right there is the door. Because once you lay down on your back, you focus on not moving, and as you're doing that, you'll eventually feel this pulling sensation, and that pulling sensation is the door to leaving your body. You do that every day, I promise you're gonna have an experience. I'm doing that every day at my house. I leave my body and I see something hunched out of my television watching me, and then I go back to my body and I'm like, no. And then I do it again. There's something in my room watching me at that point. And I'm literally like, okay, maybe this is real.
A viewer from Georgia submitted his trail cam footage, and it appears it's just a bear looking in a trail cam. Or is it? Okay, the more I look at it, the more I see, but I barely noticed anything. But then I noticed the eyelashes, and I thought, very well manicured bear. Watched it again, I noticed the eyes look human-like, on down to what I thought was a snout. I wish we could see more of that. The ridges on its nose, right down there, like almost, I don't know, I was going to say scale-like, but maybe that's just what it looks like up close. The longer I look at it, the longer I can tell it's not a bear. But what is it? The guy that sent it in doesn't know, he wants us to figure it out. He did say in the mountainous part of Georgia that he lives that there is talk of Bigfoot. He's not much of a believer, but he has definitely heard rumblings of Bigfoot, Sasquatch, other type creatures in his area. Anyhow, I don't want to beat this clip over the head because it's not very long, but I want to know what you guys think.
I mean, all the clips of Bigfoot that I have on my channel, I definitely haven't seen any Bigfoot that looks like that. It looks more kind of like a cat type thing, but the eyes didn't look like a cat's. Or do you think it's just some really strong CGI? Let me know down in the comments.
The moon was formed when a giant object the size of Mars crashed into Earth. And NASA just released the highest resolution simulation ever done on the moon's origin or other giant impacts. So here's what it might have looked like in the hours after the impact. During the collision, nearly all of Earth and the object that hit it melted and reformed as one object, and the mass that was expelled from the collision formed the moon. The Apollo missions to the moon brought back a bunch of moon rocks, and scientists found that the Earth and the moon have incredibly similar chemical characteristics. And gases found in lunar meteorites, or chunks that flew off of the moon when it was hit by an asteroid or something, match those of ancient Earth. Some of the moons of other planets are captured asteroids that got stuck in that planet's gravity and started orbiting, or they actually formed at the same time that the planet did, but not ours. Our moon is really Earth's lost appendage.
Stop the cap.
New video showing the moment a pilot suspected of being intoxicated was pulled off a flight to Chicago. This all happened on the Southwest Airlines flight back in January. The pilot, David Alsop, was getting ready to fly the plane from Savannah to Chicago when police boarded.
When was the last time you had something to drink?
Last night.
About how many hours ago?
Like 10 hours ago, at least.
Would you be willing to provide field sobriety with me right now?
No.
Why not?
There's no need.
Well, I can smell an odor consistent with an alcoholic beverage.
Alsop attributed the smell to nicotine gum he was chewing. He failed the field sobriety test and was charged with DUI.
Note to self, no more booking with Southwest. No.
Did you know that every zodiac sign has a psychic ability? Aries is pyrokinetic. They have the ability to start and control fires with their mind. Taurus is telekinetic, the ability to move things with their mind. Geminis have remote viewing, and this is the ability to perceive or describe distant or unseen objects or things. Cancers are empaths. They have the ability to feel other people's emotions. Leos are channelers. They have the ability to receive and relay information from beyond this realm. Virgos are energy healers. They have the ability to channel and manipulate energy to heal themselves and others. Libras are telepathic. They have the ability to hear the thoughts of others and communicate without speaking. Scorpios are death warners. They have the ability to receive premonitions about death. Sagittarius have precognition, which is the ability to see into the future and know what's going to happen before it actually happens. Capricorns are mediums. They have the capability of connecting with those that have passed away. Aquarius are clairvoyant. They have the ability to see individuals or events that are beyond natural perception. And Pisces have the ability to astral project. This is the ability to leave your body and project into another realm. So what psychic abilities do you have?
You know, I'm going to go ahead and call cap on this. Because if it was true, all hell would break loose on this earth already. You know what I mean? Think about it.
These are the windows to the soul. You can tell a lot by somebody's eyes. You can see if they are genuine, they are kind. You can tell if somebody is lying through their eyes. You can tell if somebody is evil, and you can also tell if somebody has suffered severe trauma. If you didn't know, this is Princess Beatrice. She is the daughter of Prince Andrew, a royal who has went under a little bit of scrutiny for his alleged ties to men like Peter Nygaard and Jeffrey Epstein. Throughout her childhood, and as you saw early adulthood, she was just a beautiful, normal little girl. She actually kind of reminded me of a mix between Prince Harry and Prince William, but somewhere down the line something changed. Now it's no secret that Princess Beatrice has always had these big, beautiful green eyes, but at some point her eyes began protruding. It's called the bug-eyed effect, which is kind of reminding me of the physical characteristics Ashley Olsen is exhibiting today. So I'm going to ask you again, what could someone possibly go through to change their physical appearance so dramatically? Now, I got a little bit of heat in my last video for comparing Ashley Olsen to a war veteran, showing in as little as 4 years how much trauma can physically affect a person. But it's not just war veterans who have exhibited these traits, it's also children who have endured extreme trauma. This is what experts are calling the 1,000-yard stare. For example, we saw it with Riker Webb, a 3-year-old child who went missing in Montana, and after 2 days, he was found like this. When I researched how much trauma can affect someone's eyes, alter pupil responses, vision problems, and even physical changes like bug-eyed appearance. I know a lot of people in my comments section stated these could all just be factors of aging, lifestyle, or plastic surgery, but could something more sinister be happening behind the scenes?
Now, I can actually chime in on this topic because I've known the guy for years, and he went through a sickness that caused his eyes to protrude. And it wasn't through any kind of like trauma or tragedy. It was literally like a sickness that caused his eyes to like bulge out. And after he got over the sickness, his eyes never changed. So it just stayed like that. So some people might go through trauma and experience that, but there's also sicknesses that cause that as well.
It's the wheel of karma. One of the only things that Jesus came, they really admire you. You have to be very brave to take that step and to sign up on this school. So the majority of us are caught on this wheel going round and around and around for how many hundreds, thousands of lifetimes?
I'm tired of being right. You guys, I am tired about being right about this Mountain Dew conspiracy because we're about to have a blackout. Remember I told you guys to watch out for that flavor Baja Midnight? Well, guess what? Taco Bell is set to launch a permanent new flavor, Baja Midnight. Now, isn't it weird that Rosie O'Donnell puts out this cryptic message just last week?
Black out the system. Black out the system.
And of course, she's being all dramatic with a black hoodie, but she's clearly alluding to something like this. Blackoutthesystem.com just popped up and their slogan says, "We're not asking, we're shutting it down." You guys, this is a call to action for a mass blackout to happen all over the United States happening on September 16th through the 20th. And this is what they want you to do. No work, no spending, no travel, no projects, no events, no restaurants, no backing out. yeah, this sounds really safe for our economy.
First of all, we're blacking out the system September the 17th. I'm talking about shutting down the whole grid, the economy, everything. No spending, no working, all of it. And we have created a discord to ensure that
Shutting down the grid. You guys, never in a million years I would expect it that a blackout will be self-inflicted by its own citizens. Do they not know what kind of chaos ensues from this? I mean, have we not all seen The Purge? I mean, what if even cops participate in this? So we just have a lawless land across 50 states. Got it. Not only that, 28 countries around the world are supporting this. Of course they would, because some of those people could be our enemies and they want a shutdown to happen. So I guess it's just a coincidence. While all this is going on, Mountain Dew releases Baja Midnight as a permanent new flavor, a new flavor that they've had in 20 years. I'm 30-0 at this point. Make sure you guys get my survival guide, link in bio, but what do you guys think about all this? Let me know below.
Now, a blackout in America sounds pretty dangerous, especially if there's no police presence around. It sounds like there might be some sleeper cells that might be waking up and taking advantage. But let me know what you think about this whole Mountain Dew conspiracy.
People who are high neuroticism carry long forms of a certain gene called the serotonin transporter gene. This gene means that high neurotics produce less serotonin more slowly. That is why warriors worry. They are literally warriors because it hurts them more when something bad happens.
Teeth are actually connected to other organs. Upper right tooth, if there is a root canal there or big mercury filling, I know that it's on energy field of like thyroid, parathyroid, stomach, right breast, and pancreas. Oftentimes I will see also the health history, which was filled out beforehand, and I will see that there is definitely correlation there. Solution for it would be to just get the tooth out, because that tooth, it's holding a lot of bacteria. It's also on that energy field, so it doesn't allow that energy to flow very good through the body, and we're having other issues to the body. Come follow us for more.
This is quite literally the only example of them even doing anything with stone depicted, but this is not showing them cut a block.
What do you think they're using when those guys are on their knees? They have those things that's showing a line.
You just be showing them carved stuff into it, because I saw examples where you have this wonderful stone and then these crude glyphs carved into it. Why would the glyphs look like in comparison to a wonderful block? Let me just clarify. Dynastic Egyptians are the so-called ancient Egyptians. My argument, there was people before them doing work.
Do not ever sit inside a Tesla as it's charging.
And I used to do that. Yeah, it felt awful.
Super dangerous. The EMS stuff is so serious and people think that that's really woo-woo nuts. I am every single night when I go to sleep, my phone is on airplane mode. I never ever keep that on Bluetooth. I interviewed this guy and he tests homes for a living. His company is called Test My Home. You spend a couple $1,000s. He goes through, checks your air quality, how many toxic chemicals are in your home. He checks for mold. He has a fascinating mind on all this. And he said that this one family that he was checking their house, they could not figure out why their daughter was deeply sick, couldn't sleep at night, had no idea what was going on. Come to find out, her headboard was on the other side of the wall that was connected to the Bluetooth washer and dryer. They disabled the Bluetooth on the washer and dryer, then she was sleeping through the night like that.
Damn.
Some people are not that affected by EMS. Some people are highly sensitive. When I'm on a long flight and my phone's in my hand for the entire flight, I can start feeling a buzzing sensation in my hand and I start feeling kind of sick and stuff, and I have to like put my phone away and not hold it for a minute. I think sometimes if we really pay attention, we can start feeling the EMFs really affect us. That can significantly impact your sleep and anxiety levels.
I personally feel like it inside of Teslas.
I refuse to own a Tesla.
Evidence is overwhelming that we are living in a simulated reality, a virtual reality, which means that somewhere out there, there is another world where we exist, what we maybe call our higher selves or however we want to think of it, projecting consciousness into this world. But there were a series of experiments that were done back in the year 2001. It was the first time this concept was taken seriously. You know, all the ancient traditions tell us that we're living the Maya, we're living the illusion, biblical perspective. That says that this world's temporary, that we come from somewhere else, we're learning something here that we're going to need when we get to the next world. You know, so the ideas are not new. The first time science really took a hard look at this, Nick Bostrom in the year 2001 created an algorithm, and he plugged in all the variables of life and civilization and governments and finance and humans and babies and everything into this algorithm. And I think probably even to his surprise, the odds, what he found was the odds statistically are greater that we are living in a simulated, a virtual reality than that we are not.
You would be surprised to see the amount of money I spend a year on security. It's like...
Do you have security right now in here?
Yeah, I spend millions upon millions of dollars a year on security. Like, some months I spend over $1 million on security.
So the Acambora artifacts were discovered in Mexico in 1994. They consisted of 33,000 artifacts found. And the carbon date put them back 6,500 years ago, which would have been 4,500 BC.
Jeez.
And these artifacts were so strange, and I've never heard of them, probably because the story's trying to get swamped over by the Smithsonian. But these artifacts, they consisted of like stone and clay, like figurines and stuff of like dinosaurs.
Oh.
And like there was one figurine of a warrior riding a triceratops.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
And then they had other figurines of like mermaids, human-animal hybrids. They even had one that looked like Bigfoot, and like just this crazy stuff that like totally messes with the whole narrative that humans interacted with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Because there's a man riding a dinosaur.
The timeline is scrambled.
And so it was authenticated by 3 men in the profession that were like, they knew what they were looking at and what they were talking about. But then the Smithsonian, like, nope, this is all, it's a fraud. None of these are real. And they said, we're going to carbon date it ourselves. And they did. And they're like, these are only 30 years old.
You know, there has to be some kind of truth to it because, you know, they're pulling these ideas out of the ether from somewhere, right? The ideas of dinosaurs and these mythical creatures. They're coming from somewhere, you know? And so I don't know. There's a lot to be discussed on that topic.
Leaked 200-page internal document just exposed the secret rules for Meta's AI, and they are horrifying. The official policy seen by Reuters explicitly permitted the AI to engage a child in romantic or sensual conversations, generate false medical information, and even help users argue that black people are dumber than white people. This isn't a theory. These were the approved rules, and they have had deadly consequences. A 76-year-old man was convinced by a flirty Meta AI bot that it was a real person. It lured him to an address where he had an accident and died. After the leak, Meta claimed the rules were erroneous and had them removed. This wasn't a bug. This was their official policy approved by their own chief ethicist. And it reveals a terrifying truth. They're not building a tool, they're building an influence machine.
What all does Mark Zuckerberg have going on over there at Facebook, man? I mean, do people really still use that platform anyway?
There was this Ouija board, the old kids' Ouija board thing. I said, we gotta throw this thing out. Let's get rid of it, burn it. But before we do, why don't we try it?
Despite Russell being a skeptic, he agreed to participate, and together with their nanny and friend, they began a Ouija board session. Blindfolded and unable to see the board, Russell and the nanny moved the planchette while Horn carefully recorded the letters. Horn opened with a question.
I said, who is with us now? Said, new baby Russell. No. And I just told him, and I get the chills just thinking about it.
Shockingly, the planchette spelled out, clearly and chillingly, new baby Russell.
I said, who is with us now? Said, new baby Russell. No. And I just told him, and I get the chills just thinking about it.
At this point, Horn had 2 children, Oliver and Kate Hudson, from a previous relationship, and was not yet pregnant with her 3rd child.
She couldn't just leave well enough alone. See, when curiosity gets the best of you, you're going to mess around and find out. And she definitely did.
Everything that happened on the news today, but it's going to be simplified in 60 seconds. The Netflix app is officially about to stop working on 60 different types of TVs next month, with thousands of people losing access. They're saying that Sony and Apple TVs are included in this, but here's the first list, and then here's the second list, and then here's the third list. If your TV is on this list, you're no longer going to be able to have Netflix. A father and daughter duo finally decode an alien signal from Mars 1 year after it was released. Okay. Basically, this was not a real alien signal. It was actually sent by the SETI Institute as a game a year ago. Obviously, they were finally able to crack the code, and they found out that it's actually an image of 5 amino acids. So for example, like hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen. People are only just finding out what Google really stands for after nearly 30 years. So they're saying that Google is actually just a misspelling of the word Google, and they're saying that if you don't know what that is, it basically means the number 1 followed by 100 zeros. I don't know what that means, but okay.
This was the first time someone controlled 2 APL prosthetic limbs at once with their mind. To achieve this, the 2-limb amputee had to undergo a special surgery that rerouted nerves into still functioning muscles.
If time and space are continuous,
as it were, shoot an arrow and have it hit the wall. Why can't I? Of course I can shoot an arrow and hit the wall. What the hell are you talking about, right? I'll do it right now and show you I can do it. No, you can't. Why not? Well, because both space and time are continuous. So you shoot the arrow. In order to get to the wall, you'll agree it has to pass the halfway mark. And then between there and the wall, there's another halfway mark. And then again, and then again, and then again, and then again. I always subdivide by half. Now, if space and time are continuous, that set of divisions never ends. For the arrow to get to the wall, you have to complete an infinite sequence. But you can't complete an infinite sequence. To complete a sequence of tasks, you have to get to the last one. But in an infinite sequence, there is no last one. So you can't complete it. So that means the arrow can never get to the wall. There's something wrong with that argument. It's not true that to complete a sequence, you have to get to the last one. To complete a sequence, you have to do every one. If there's no last one, so what? As long as you do every one, you completed the sequence. So this is Aristotle's answer. There's an infinite sequence of these spatial units, a half, and then a quarter, and then an eighth, and then, always going down by half. Yes. And time is equally divisible. So there's a period of time in which you will complete that task, that task, that task, that task, that task.
First official promo look at the Backrooms movie coming out by A24 just dropped a few days ago. Let's take a closer look at it. Here's a quick timeline up to now. Back in 2019 on 4chan, somebody posted this photo that existed on the internet for quite some time, which would be later known as the Backrooms. The lore grew from there, but in early 2022, a YouTuber, Kane Parsons, he started a series of Backroom Shorts on YouTube, which went viral, and as of now, they have millions of views. In February of 2023, A24 announced that they would be working on a film based on Kane Parsons' videos. Kane Parsons would even be directing, which will make him the youngest A24 director in their history. Kane Parsons' Backroom series follows the events of a research company called Rethink. During these videos, we see them discover the backrooms, the expeditions into it, and the consequences of being there. On July 10th, we got an update that Mark Duplass would be joining the cast of the movie. July 19th, a TikTok user posted this video of the movie being shot in their neighborhood. August 11th, A24 posted this image to their socials, and if you look super close, you can see the pattern of the chevron wallpaper in the OG Backrooms photo, which is the first official promo released since the announcement of this film from A24. I feel like we're going to start seeing a lot more promo from A24, and I can't wait, and hopefully we get a trailer soon, just even a teaser. I am ready, and less is more.
Apparently not even monks can be trusted anymore after police in Thailand busted at least 9 monks, some in senior positions, after they stole millions of dollars from their Buddhist temple. What was the money for, you ask? It was hush money being paid to a woman they were all sleeping with. The report said that an abbot had left the monkhood after being caught sleeping with a woman, which of course they're prohibited from doing. So police learned that a woman in her mid-30s, who they're referring to as Miss Golf, had slept with this monk and then demanded money from him. Well, they start digging into Miss Golf a little more and find out that she had 80,000 photos and videos of her sleeping with at least 9 other monks. Over the last 3 years, she had extorted $11 million from these celibate monks. The woman was arrested for extortion, receiving stolen property, and money laundering, but as far as I can tell, the monks, weren't arrested for stealing the money from their temple. Apparently, this is a massive issue in Thailand right now. I guess in 2022, an entire temple was left empty after all the monks were arrested in a drug raid.
History will continue to repeat itself. Adam let Eve distract him, and these monks let a single woman come and distract them. It's crazy.
This never happened, and I can guarantee you've not seen this before. The movie Home Alone, millions of people swear that this one scene happened. There's a scene where Marv and Harry are driving past a church and looking in. Marv then says, "This place gives me the creeps, we all remember that." But it never happened. Millions, and I mean genuinely millions of people remember a movie called Shazam. Not the popular superhero movie that came out recently. I'm talking about an OG movie from the 80s called Shazam that featured Sinbad. But of course, again, this movie never existed. The most famous one, you've probably all seen, the emojis that didn't exist. Lots of people claiming that the robber emoji existed, but it never did, even though some people still claim that they actually do have it on their phone. Everybody, and I mean everybody, remembers in the Disney intros Tinkerbell dotting the I's, one of the most iconic things. But no, it didn't happen. Of course it didn't. This is genuinely really weird. But apparently a lot of people thought that New Zealand was located northeast off of Australia, and had always thought that that is exactly where it was on a world map. And of course, in the movie E.T., E.T. never said E.T. phone home. He actually said E.T. home phone, which again, people have been absolutely baffled over the fact that that genuinely happened.
Been asked to look at Conan O'Brien. I don't think anybody can look at this guy's face and not go, that's an interesting face. He's just got a unique face. 9 face shapes, he's a combination between what we call a bucket face. If you'll notice, he's narrower here, it comes up, squared off, kind of shaped like a bucket. I'm a bucket face. We like to put things in our bucket. We have a thirst for knowledge that is simply unquenchable. We don't need anything other than our brain. We can sit in a chair. We don't need television. We don't need music. We just enjoy the process of thinking. We tend to overthink, but we're also thought leaders. We're intellectually persistent. We're strategists. We're list makers. We never complete our list because God will take us home if we do. And then he's got a lot of length to his face. So that's that tree quality. The tree face, just as a tree is deeply rooted, he's deeply rooted. He can take the winds of life. That face can handle stress better than any other face. They just have this deep root system. They can take those winds of life, stresses of life, better than anyone else. They like to grow on their own, don't like to be trimmed back, but their gift to mankind is the ability to spread their branches to protect. This, I wish all children had a tree face parent in their life because they're so good at protecting. So let's talk about him in a little more in-depth way. We're going to look at the right and left eye. The right eye is what we show to the world. It's our public persona. It's our mother's influence. The left is our true inner private self. So when we cover up the left eye and just look at that right eye, this guy's very focused. He's very intentional. Not intense, but intentional. The left eye, he's wary. He's just not as trusting as he would probably like to be. He's probably been burnt a number of times. I know he got kind of burnt in his television show at some point. I don't remember all the details. I just read a book about Johnny Carson, and he was mentioned that he kind of got screwed over in that late night talk show kind of world. His ears are very flat to the side of his head. Sounds bother us, and sounds bother this guy. But we're also good listeners. We can hear multiple conversations at one time in restaurants where there's a lot of noise because there's a person in front of us talking, but this person's going on vacation, this person changed job, this person's having an affair, and this person in front of me is talking. So it's sometimes a little difficult. He suffers from that same thing. I don't think he's quite as aggressive as mine. Forehead, you can't look at this guy and go, that's a big forehead. So the basic tenet in face reading is more, less is less. So if there's more of a forehead, what's behind the forehead? Well, the brain. This guy's high intellect. There's no issues with him from an IQ standpoint. Very, very intelligent individual, deep thinker, who again will tend to overthink. There's an interesting contradiction in him. I don't see this very often. His mouth is very narrow. Now, this indicates he's very introverted, kind of hard to confide in others. He's very private, and yet his jaws are incredibly strong, especially that left jaw. It just sticks out. A lot of his determination from his father. And this indicates someone that's very determined and very, very confident. So you've got the introverted and then the confidence. It's an interesting anachronistic entity here. I don't know how to read that. It's just something he's dealt well in his life. I mean, he's been very successful in what he does. I always like to look at patients and people from a health standpoint. That was my passion, was trying to figure out what's not right. He's got a little unlevel eyes. His pupil on that one side is higher than the other. This is almost always an indicator of a traumatic brain injury, TBI, or a concussion. Chances are he's had a history of a concussion. There is this indentation in his cheeks. This area represents your lungs. There's some lung weakness there. I don't think he's a smoker. He could have been a smoker at one time, but anytime we see this sunken in, there's just lacking something. Oftentimes it's oxygen, so there can be a lot of fatigue issues with these folks, but there's just something kind of lacking there. A little bit of lines across the forehead, a little bit of intestinal weakness, and then the tip of the nose, there's some heart issues there. Chances are there's a family history of heart. So that's Conan O'Brien. Interesting face. Again, you can't look at it and go, that's an interesting face. Hope you enjoy.
Now you can tell that guy's extremely good at what he does, because if you've ever watched Conan O'Brien, a lot of those characteristic traits definitely spot on.
Intuition test. You're going to tell me what color crystal I have in my hand. What is your first thought? What do you see? What do you sense? What do you smell? What do you feel? What do you know? If you have trouble connecting with your intuition, take a big deep breath. Close your eyes and imagine that you have a light dimmer in front of you. And this light dimmer, you can turn it to the right to turn it on, or turn it to the left to turn it off. And this is your intuition. So turn it up to the right and turn on your intuition. Okay, turn on your intuitive abilities. And we're going to sit here for a minute, and don't worry, I'm going to tell you what color it is at the end of this video. So it's 4:44 as I record this. Hello. What color is my crystal? Ready? We're going to find out now. Green. Did you get it right?
For once, I got it right. Green. Okay. For once, if you got it right, let me know down in the comments, man. I'm actually happy I got it right. Hey. Well, you guys, that's another one in the books, man. I appreciate you guys for stopping by yet again and watching another one with me. If you haven't already, smash that like button for me. Smash that subscribe button if you're not already part of the iTrack fam. And I will definitely catch you on the next one.